Hola mi gente, hello my people, and today we're going to be looking at these beautiful Faber-Castell graphite pencils. Hoy vamos a estar usando estos pinceles aquí que tenemos. Vamos a hacer un boceteo. Here's the reference photo that I will be using. This is an old picture of me. I was going to use a reference photo online, but remembered that I had a bunch of photos here at my house, so I'm going to be using that instead. Here's a closer look at the set.
Wow!
This set of 8 graphite pencils consists of a blending stick. Here you go. Here you have it. Just like any other blending stick. Pretty sure it works just fine. Didn't get to use it. And then a sharpener, which is very much needed. And then, of course, a little eraser. This eraser I didn't really like. Didn't really do much of a good job of erasing. But that's okay. It's there. It works. And then, of course, the one and only, the beautiful 14B graphite pencil. This is what it looks like. Take a closer look at that nib. Como ven aquí, siempre me tardo hacer la primera línea de un boceteo. No sé por qué, pero así me pasa. Before I give you guys my opinion on these matte graphite pencils, I would like to let you guys know that I first started off my art journey with a set similar to this one, as well as a sketchbook that my best friend had gifted to me for my birthday. I mentioned this because this takes me back to when I first started learning how to draw or sketch or anything that has to do with being creative. This was how I entered into like the art world, I guess. Was with the set of graphite pencils and a sketchbook. And at school, I was known as the kid that knew how to draw, and people would ask me to draw certain things. I would also be known as a kid who would always draw on their desk with a graphite pencil. The graphite pencils were just what I was drawn to. I didn't like anything in color when I first started off. It was just basically black and white graphite pencils. That's all I would draw with. And it was like a regular school pencil that I started drawing off with. So I would draw on my desk. Well, I would doodle on my desk. And I would also doodle on my homework. I would doodle on handouts that teachers would give us. I would also doodle on the whiteboard with the markers. And yeah, I basically just doodled anywhere I could, whether it was a chair or the benches, the ground. I don't know. I would just really doodle anywhere. I would also have the habit of doodling on my arms and other people's arms, which was weird, but it was a thing. In high school, I would easily get bored during class, so a lot of the times I would just end up doodling on my desk, especially when it came to like the last 2 periods of school. My assigned desk was just filled halfway with like doodles, and I tried my best to erase whatever I drew most of the time, but sometimes I would just leave it there. And other people had noticed that I wasn't getting in trouble for doodling, so they started to do it, and it got so out of hand that the teacher had to put a stop to it and said that if he ever caught anybody doodling on the desk, that he would make them clean the whole classroom, which was fair. Cuando apenas estaba comenzando a dibujar, mi amiga me regaló un set de pinceles casi igual como estos, pero un poquito más grande, y también me regaló un libro de boceteo, un cuaderno de boceteo, y eso es como yo comencé a dibujar. Antes que tenía la costumbre o quisiera aprendí a dibujar cosas más realísticos. Solo estaba dibujando cosas pequeñas, unas caritas y todo eso. Pero dibujaba en mis notas de la escuela, dibujaba en mi tarea y también dibujaba en el pizarrón de la escuela. O sea, yo dibujaba donde quiera. O sea, si había un papel, yo dibujaba. As I mentioned before, I had started off drawing with a set similar to this one that my friend had gifted to me for my birthday, as well as a sketchbook to go along with it, and it was absolutely one of the greatest gifts I had ever received. And that gift is what set me towards the path of wanting to learn how to draw correctly, such as anatomy, and it was also my very first sketchbook, so that's kind of how I got into the world of sketching and sketchbooks. And even though I had a sketchbook, I still somehow wound up doodling on my desk and on my homework. I often carried my sketchbook with me, but sometimes I would just forget it. But that's sort of how I got into the habit of just carrying my sketchbook around. It wasn't really a thing. Like, kids weren't carrying their sketchbooks around with them. And I also didn't really like carrying it around because then people would want to see what was inside, and I didn't really want to show people that. I mentioned this little story to you guys because I know art supplies can be really expensive, especially when it comes to the fine arts of the art world. Digital media is somewhat not as expensive, but it's still kind of expensive. But a sketchbook and a good set of graphite pencils can really take you guys a long way, especially as a beginner artist. Learning your fundamentals is one of the most important things to learn as an artist when it comes to like anatomy, perspective, and values. That's really important to learn before you ever like start actually painting or go into different mediums and just exploring different mediums of the fine arts. The set of graphite pencils and the sketchbook was not that expensive. I think my friend spent around like $24, including a little stuffed plushie that she also gifted me as well. And probably like a card that she gave me for my birthday. So yeah, she didn't really spend a lot of money on that art supply. But for me, it was something that was, very special to me because it's what I started off using as, and it also kind of got me back into like the world of art and just learning how to draw, because in middle school I stopped drawing at all, and then as a freshman I also kind of dabbled a little bit in the arts, but not really, just because I never really had my own art supplies. I think I even tried painting, but I kind of immediately got over it because I don't know, I just really didn't know how to paint, and I didn't really have my fundamentals down, so I was kind of got like bored of that. But yeah, that gift that my friend gave me really got me back into like the world of the arts and fine arts, and just also in the habit of sketchbooking, and it opened up a whole new world for me, because before that sketchbook I would never thought of like getting myself a sketchbook and even starting to like sketch. That's why I love sketching so much now. And I also want to let you guys know why I got this set of graphite pencils if I already have graphite pencils, and that is because these ones are matte and I want to see if they actually work or not. But something that I really didn't like about graphite pencils, and why I kind of stopped using them for a while, was because I would always have to end up using charcoal in order for me to get those really dark darks, because graphite pencil just leaves a shine to it, like it's very reflective when it gets like direct sunlight or direct spotlight. But yeah, that's why I got these graphite pencils. As I was using them lightly, I didn't really notice any reflection from the graphite. But when I did put a little bit more pressure into like the darker parts of the sketch, I did start to notice some reflection going on. And as you can see, I am sketching in direct sunlight, and that is because I really want you guys to see how these pencils look like in direct sunlight or in direct light, if you guys are working with like a lamp or anything like that. Not sure how you guys draw. But I noticed that some people review these pencils like where like it's not hitting like direct light on top of the drawing, and I really wanted to see what it actually looks like in direct sunlight. That way I can see how much reflection it's giving off. And here you guys have a closer look, and you don't really see much reflection going on here because again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure onto the pencil. But then later on, you'll notice that you'll see a little bit more reflection. Como pueden ver, este pincel aquí es mate. Todavía tiene un brillo, pero no es tan fuerte como los otros pinceles que tengo. Y aquí está la foto que usé. Es como se ve. Nomás era un boceteo, así que no le puse mucho detalle. Pero puedes ver los resultados del pincel. Son muy mates. Me encantó este pincel aquí. Este es el 14B y es muy oscuro. Se mira casi igual como si estuvieras usando un charcoal pencil. Algo que me gustaría tener en este set es un pincel más bajo de tono que este, porque este es un HB. Aquí en otro set que tenía de la marca Blick, tengo un 6H. Aquí se ve que este es más bajo que este y quisiera uno que sea un poquito más bajo para que se mire como este. Pero si ven también este tiene más brillo que este. O sea, se mira. Si lo muevo, mira que tanto brilla este brilla mucho. Este no brilla tanto. Pero quisiera un pincel que es un poquito más bajo que este, el HB. As you can see here, there is not a lot of shine. There is mainly shine from the graphite pencils from where I put a lot of pressure, which was here in the darker areas, such as the hair, the eyes, the jeans, and then the straps for the backpack. But there you can see overall. And then over here, I just compared it with Blick's graphite pencils, and then this is Faber-Castell's. I noticed that there was only the lightest color, not the lightest color, but the lightest shade was HB, and I wish they had done like a super light tone, something like a 6H would have been nice. Because it was a little bit dark when I was sketching with the what was it again? The HB on here, because I started off using the HB with the sketch, the initial sketch. So I wish they could have done some, like, had more range. Here's a comparison of the Blick brand and the Faber-Castell matte. And here you can see there's quite a lot of shine in the graphite pencil from Blick, and not so much in the, oh, there we go. There we go. Now you can see how much shine there really is on both of them. But overall, it's very matte. My camera is showing a lot of shine on this, but in real life, there's not that much shine. There's not. There we go. So just note that the more pressure you put on the graphite pencil, the more shine you're going to have, right? So I put as much pressure as possible on both of these. That you can see. One thing that I really didn't like from using graphite pencils from when I was younger was the darkest shade that they had was not 14B. I think the darkest was a 12B, which would have been this one. This is as dark as they could go when I would get sets. But this one goes all the way to 14B, which I absolutely love. And it's absolutely great. This is such a really dark, like if I put a lot of pressure there, you can see how dark it is. And that's just in the light. That's really dark. I'll show you guys later what it looks like when it's not in direct sunlight. But yeah, that's what I really love about this set, was that you can get a pencil that is really dark and it's not charcoal. I would always end up having to use charcoal for my drawings because charcoal is like the darkest black that you could get. But yeah, there's that. And this is what it looks like away from direct sunlight. As you can see, this almost looks like charcoal. Almost. It feels really soft. It feels very soft. The texture of it is very velvety, which is why I kept on using my fingers, because it just felt really nice to do this. Y eso es todo, mi gente. Ojalá que les gustó el video. That's it, everyone, and I will see you when I see you.